Kermit, what was the energy like out there? It seemed like you guys were playing it rough. It was kind of not a lot of whistles played. Was it a little playoff style a little bit out there?
Yeah, definitely like playoff type atmosphere. We know how much this game means. They know how much it meant. So it was good to come out with the win. But also, it's always fun playing at that level. That was crazy. Let's do something. Finish the game already. That was nuts. But we got through it.
Kurt mentioned that he talked to you guys yesterday about the urgency, about these are all big games now, starting with this one. I mean, you guys have done it in the past, but how much confidence do you feel doing it again, summoning this kind of energy when you know you had to?
Yeah, we know what it takes. We understand. I think we got a good balance on our team. Guys who need to bring energy and are bringing that energy. It was great for. Sometimes you kind of go in these situations and it's like, do you talk about it? Does it add more pressure? Do you kind of just and I thought it was amazing for Steve to come in like, listen, this is a big game. This is a playoff game, and we need to go out here with that type of focus and win it. And, guys were locked in and got the job done.
You mentioned you're back in kind of your position in a couple of weeks now. How concerned are you about the load ahead? I mean, there's obviously a lot at stake on this however many games, and that physically, the pack is ready for it.
Yeah, I think, I always tell y'all I got the utmost confidence in our training staff. I don't think I could be in a place with better, and so knowing that, I trust them, and, they get me to a place where I'm ready to go, and, today was good. It was really good. I think not playing in Dallas, as much as that sucked, was the right thing to do because, leading up to that, I just kept, getting to a point to where I could play, and then afterwards the next day I can't. I mean, not like I physically couldn't do it. I could go shoot, but I'd be overcompensating, trying to get back, feeling good, and then we got a game the next day, so it was good for me to kind of, it gave me an extra couple of days of rest and allowed me to actually turn the corner. I was kind of having some pain and just getting through it and getting to a space where I can go. And today I had no pain, and so I think just trusting in our training staff and knowing they understand everything about the body that one can understand and really depending on their expertise. And they've been great and have never given me any reason not to trust anything that they say.
Where's your trust level of Trace as your backup? And on certain nights, I'm sure could maybe kind of ease your minutes load.
I have a lot of trust in Trace. Trace is a lot like me coming in. He's 23 years old in his rookie year. So you've played in big games. You've played, and for Trace, you've played in big games where you had to be the man, and shoulder the load, scoring, rebounding, carrying the team, leading the team. And so I have no doubt that he's ready for the stage that that he's been on as of late, and what's ahead. His maturity. He's not your average rookie when it comes to maturity standpoint. He knows more. He knows his role. He excels in his role. So I got the utmost confidence in Trace, and nice that he can lower my minutes, and then also knowing we still got Loon. And Loon is ready to go at all times, and also Dario. So I got nothing but confidence in those guys.
Draymond, with all that you guys have accomplished, despite the roadblocks this season, is there a sense that you get into the playoffs, nobody can beat you guys?
Absolutely. That's always, how we go into playoffs feeling. Knowing that anytime we get in, we got a chance, and so. The goal is for us, obviously, you don't want to be in the play-in. If we are, you just got to go win a game or two, which we've been in those positions before where you need to win a game or two to close a series, to get back in a series, or whatever it is. So I know, we all know that if we get in, do our jobs this last 3.5 weeks, give ourselves a chance. Like our odds against anybody.
I'm sure you've noticed the trend in points going down, foul calls going down. Does that suit you? Probably suits you. Does it suit this team maybe a little bit that, a little more is allowed out there? Certainly seemed like tonight that there was a little more allowed, a little more play allowed.
Yeah, I think that's great. I always enjoy that time of year where, you're not getting the ticky-tack fouls. You got to play through some contact. Because we are a team, we don't sell calls. you can't get Steph to sell a call if his life depended on it. Klay's not going to sell a call, and so we are a team that naturally plays through that, and we've always said you don't want to learn and practice flopping, because all of a sudden you get to playoffs and you're doing what you've been practicing. They don't call it. Those are turnovers, and we feasted on teams that does that over the years. So we don't want to be that team. We take pride in playing through the contact and just getting the job done. So I think it's great for us.
I think you probably threw 4 or 5 or maybe more lobs to Kuminga and maybe one to Trace. Was that just, obviously no AD, but was that just part of what was there? What was your mindset throwing all those lobs?
Yeah, we always talk to those guys about cutting out of the corners when ball gets to the pocket, and they're doing a great job of it. There wasn't one time where I got the ball and there was an opportunity to cut, and Wiggs or JK didn't cut, and you got those guys cutting. Leave it up to them. You rely on their athleticism. They're great receivers, as I call them. They go up and get the pass, and just trust them. But, it all starts with Steph drawing the attention that he draws, which opened the pocket up and allowed me to make those plays.
The lob to JK from half court, how much trust does that show in him that you're going to let that one fly?
Yeah. It's funny. I was telling AV on the bench. AV was like, that was one of the ones like, no, yes. And I was like, listen, AV, he's never given me a reason not to throw the ball. That's one thing I hate. It's like every now and then you throw a lob, it's a very bang play. Every now and then you throw it might be way too high. And I just hate when a guy won't jump, because then it looks even crazier. If you jump and you don't get it, then it just goes over your hand, and it's like, all right, a little too high. But if I throw it high as hell and you don't jump, then I just look crazy. And JK has never done that to me. And so I have no reason not to trust that he's going to try to go get it. And if I can put it somewhere in the area, near the rim, I know what he's capable of doing. So I got nothing but trust in him, and I know he's going to attempt to go get it. And as long as he attempts to go get it, I trust that I'll put it on the money more often than I won't.
Trey, you come forward 8 minutes right away. Steve said he feels like he's kind of leaning into that bench score role. Have you seen him?
He's definitely leaning into it. He's enjoying it too. He comes like, Dre, man, this is nice. This is great. I think that's great for this team, but it also shows his maturity. You go so long starting. He's been starting since halfway through his rookie season, and had a resume that he has, built up an organization like he has, and then you're asked to take on a bench role. There's not many people that know how that feels, but there's a bunch of people that wants to judge it. And I felt like early on he was too worried about how people was judging it, and now he don't care. And once he stopped caring, his game did what we know Klay Thompson is capable of doing. So I think it shows incredible maturity in Klay, and want to extend this as long as we can. And I said, this is our baby. We've built this thing up from the ground up, and for him to accept the role, but not only accept the role, but pour into the young guys like he's been pouring into the young guys since he accepted the role, I think has been huge. And when you got Klay Thompson feeding you confidence as a young guy, that takes you through the roof. And, it's allowing these young guys to play at the level that they're playing.
Sometimes I don't feel like you get the credit you deserve, especially with what you bring offensively. I was learning a lot of you guys' plays. A lot of your stuff is more so off of read and react, and you bring that element to the table. What can you say to a lot of players out there with learning the IQ, and what can you tell your younger self too as well with coming in here? Was there anything that you would change too with things that you would learn coming into the NBA?
I think having an IQ, a basketball IQ, is extremely important, because when a guy doesn't, it's glaringly noticeable, and so this is a gift of mine. It's something that, my uncle taught me the game as a kid, to think the game, not just go out there and play the game and try to play off skill and athleticism, but actually think the game, see the floor, and I'm forever grateful for that. I have the opportunity to play with the 2 greatest shooters to ever play. That opens up the floor in a way that I could only dream of as playing the style of basketball that I like to play as a playmaker. When you got two guys like Steph and Klay, and I've had the honor of playing with those two guys my entire career, you learn how to play with them, you learn how to play off them, you learn how to use them to get other guys things, and it's been great for me. And I think something that I would tell my younger self is just like to always remain confident. There's times in my career where I've lost confidence in myself and my game, and I know what I'm capable of, but you get those times where it's not quite going your way and you start to reel a little bit. So I would just tell, my younger self, like, no matter what, the time you put in, always be confident in that.
Great. All right, Steph.
I think you had 18 in your first 8 minutes tonight. Are you actively, sort of coming off the bench and, wanting to come in and kind of get them up?
I don't think so. I just take what the defense gives me, and if they're going to let me get open off some pin downs or some transition threes, and I'm going to shoot it. And I don't try and overthink things and just keep it simple, and that's usually when my game tends to flourish.
Steve did say he is leaning into that idea. He can call the plays for you more right when you get in the game. Are you sensing that they're kind of going to you as a fresh leader off the bench like that?
Yeah, and it's been working, so I think hopefully we stick with it.
Do you like it?
I've been enjoying it. The record we have has been reflecting well of the situation, so it's been a fun run.
Kerr said that he talked to you guys at practice, just how urgent things are, how big all these games are, but this one's obviously a big one. Did this feel like a big game, Klay? Did it feel almost a little playoffy?
No offense to the LA crowd, but you couldn't really tell. I've been here during a finals game when I was 20 years old. I was very lucky to go with my dad in 2010, so didn't quite feel the same, but it was still a very important game, and I'm very happy with the turnout from our fans. It's cool to see how many Warrior fans show up.
Sorry, go ahead. Klay, you've been really open about how that talk with Steve Kerr a while ago helped shift your perspective. I'm curious, since you guys had that talk, how has his words just resonated with you in terms of your perspective?
Well, Steve has seen it all, really, his time in the NBA, and that conversation just helped me relax a little bit, and instead of chasing, past greatness, just be appreciative of what I'm able to do now and the road the mountain I had to climb to get back to playing at this level. So it really helped me just, relax and be myself.
Klay, how would you describe the way the game ended? Have you ever seen something like that?
It was a little weird, but I kind of wish they would have just done the countdown earlier. Would have saved us some time and kept us a little more fresh.
Klay, right here. Good seeing you again, my boy.
Yeah, how you doing?
Pac-10, Pac-10, Pac-12, last official game today. You did a lot in that conference. I just wanted to ask you what that conference meant to you, and what are your thoughts about it ending too?
That conference was everything for me, especially growing up in Oregon and moving to Southern California. So many great athletes came through the Pac-10 and Pac-12 now, but it was just really special being able to go to football games at Oregon growing up, or a game at Matt Court, playing a youth basketball game at Gill Arena. To finally ending up at Wazoo was very special, and it's very sad, to be honest, because there'll be a whole generation of young athletes who don't know about the Pac Pacific Conference and the history of it. So it's unfortunate, but I still cherish those memories of watching and participating in the conference, and it's just sad. It's just sad.
What's it like to see Kuminga kind of go toe-to-toe with LeBron? Obviously, LeBron was going to get his, but Kuminga was going at it too. How much growth have you seen in him?
Jonathan's been incredible for us. The athlete, he might be the best athlete in the NBA, just his ability to rise up and his combination of speed. So He is the future of the franchise, and we need him to go where we want to go this season.
We all see the standings, and it might be tough to get out of the play-in. You might be playing the Lakers in a play-in game. Do you look to that? Do you say, no, there's many other things you could get? You get to 6, 7, whatever, or where's your mindset on that?
We got 15, 16 games, so until those are complete, I'm not even paying it much attention because I want to give it everything I got in this last part of the season, and then when that time comes, then I'll give it a lot of thought. Heads up. Oh, right.
Steph Curry talked about how yesterday he mentioned how urgent things are, how big a game this is, and Draymond said maybe sometimes you don't want to hear that. It doesn't help, but maybe this time was the perfect time to hear that. What did you think when he said that? Were you thinking the same, and how big did this game become then?
You didn't have to tell me anything. I missed the last 3, so I was excited just to be back. But you obviously understand the ramifications of every game we play down the stretch. I know the guys fought hard in Dallas and lost it late, so you want to have a nice bounce back performance. But every game, especially against teams that are right in the right in the standings, where it's all jumbled up in that play-in, every game matters. So and I knew we haven't won here in a while. I think it's been 2 years ago, so that was on top of mind too.
Yeah. How was the ankle? Was there ever a moment when you had to think about it out there?
Nah, it was as expected. Body felt good, loosened up as we went, and it was nice to just get my reps back and feel the competition again. Even though it was just 9-10 days, I did miss it for sure.
You mentioned, you haven't won here in a while, just big picture, team you might see again in the play-in potentially. What kind of confidence can you guys draw from as a group winning here in the fashion that you did?
I know AD missed the second half, but you understand what they've been playing well as well, and you understand what they do, putting pressure on you in the paint. If we try to keep the offensive side of the ball simple and not turn it over, then we give ourselves a great chance to defend them in the half court. Bron's gonna get his. When AD was out there, he's gonna get his. You try not to let him get too many open looks from 3. And when we got stops, we were able to run too. JK got open a couple of times in transition. Wiggs did as well. So for us to push the pace off of stops is always big against a bigger team like that. And only 18 free throws.
Yeah, you obviously noticed the trend in fouls not being called as much, points going down. You would think maybe the Warriors wouldn't love that, but in a different way, is this kind of playing to you, some of you guys' strengths, where, as someone said, you will never try to sell a call. Does this help you, maybe, you guys?
I just feel as long as it's consistent either way, whatever the tone of the game is, that helps everybody out there just play a good brand of basketball. Less complaining, just go hoop. And when it becomes one side or the other and you kind of feel it, that's where things kind of get a little wacky and you get distracted by it. So for us, it just makes it about the game. And playing sound defense, obviously, if they're letting you be physical, you can use your hands a little bit, knowing that they're going to do it on the other side, but it does help you, just stay in front of guys and, play solid team defense. So the consistency is key when it comes to that.
Last 2 minutes of the game took over 20 minutes. How would you describe how strange that was?
It was weird because every time, I don't know why we had the hope that we did after maybe the second one, but every time they put the ball in, we're like, all right, we're good. And then 2 dribbles and the whistles came back. So I never seen anything like that in my 15 years because usually there's a backup plan of a secondary clock or something. So thankfully it was only, a minute and some change, minute 50 left. And once they did get the ball back and play, 2 possessions, and we kind of sealed the deal from there. But definitely weird. I watch a lot of golf. I don't know if they did like that playing through thing where you see the commercials running and they're just waiting for the game to come back, but it's probably not the greatest for TV.
Steph, on that, in regards to reviews, what do you think can be done so that they don't take as long?
I have no idea. I don't know. I've always wanted to know what's the conversation when they put the headphones on, and like who are they talking to, and what's the back and forth. Once you have a good read on whether the call should be overturned or not, like just sticking with your gut on that, and maybe that's the one thing about the calls that were tonight, like LeBron's heel on the line, Draymond's toe on the line, the offensive or the rebound that was simultaneously touched by two guys and they couldn't figure it out. They were all like, you have to zoom all the way in. So that's where technology kind of gets the best of you when you're trying to always, get it down to the frame that you can see it definitively. And it's weird that those three plays were kind of all in a row. So I don't know what the answer is, but just get it right.
Steve was saying that he don't like replay, like he'd rather just have it for buzzer beaters. What's your general sense of that role?
I do like it, to Medina's question, if it's quicker and doesn't interrupt the flow of the game. You want to get, there are calls that you need it, and it can dictate a momentum swing or a crucial 2 points or whatever the case is. And especially when you get the challenge right, having another one just in case there's something down the stretch. So I think it might be more just how can you make it quicker than taking it away.
Steph, I've been.
For sure, I've worked really hard this week to get, let my ankle heal, but also stay in shape and not lose anything so I could come back. The third quarter, when I started to get going, I definitely felt a little bit in that second win that you need to get after missing some time. But knowing where we are, again, every game mattering as much as it does. I want to be out there as much as I can and play solid basketball the way I know how to do it.
Team-wise, 8 or 9 games.
Oh, I thought you were talking about minutes. My bad. It's kind of the same question. I like it. But yes, that's for us to be able to build an identity on how we're going to play and that chemistry of units that you need. It is tough, Loon, Moses, Dario, probably in that order, and then you get down to Lester and Rome, but especially, Loon and Moses. There's probably gonna be times where they're gonna be needed and they need to be ready, and that's the challenge that they face. And the trust that we have that they can get put in there at any moment and still be productive. But this part of the year, again, building an identity of how we're gonna play and the chemistry of the rotations and having that. Everybody needs to be available, obviously, but that's huge to build confidence in how we need to play.
Steph, one of the things that's really impressed me about you is what you've done for youth sports. I wanted to get your thoughts on you signing Malaysia, number one. And then two, I got a chance to go to your camp. Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, all the top players were there. You participated in every drill like you were trying to make it to the NBA. Just what's your thought on that? And, participating in camps and being a part of every drill, and then your thoughts on signing Malaysia, another female athlete that's about to be next up on the basketball culture.
The camp experience it's a brand that I've take a lot of pride in, just because I used to come up when I was coming up through high school and college. I went to Bron's camp, I went to CP's camp, I went to Steve Nash, Paul Pierce, Kobe's, and I got to see how different guys interacted with the next generation. Bron and CP were out there hooping just like I do. We were playing pickup. Paul and Kobe weren't as much. Steve was teaching more. So like everybody has a different style, and for me it was always fun to just get out there and feel their energy. It keeps me young. I can work on stuff that I'm doing in the summer, stay in shape. It's a great way to give them a unique experience, but also I benefit from it too. And the connections that I've made with all the guys and girls who've been in camp, we have true equity in our Curry camp with the same amount of guys, the same amount of girls that are invited, and they all can hoop. They're all amazing. It's where I met Malaysia first, and to now know that she's part of Curry brand and being able to have her wave, the Curry brand flag and do it in the way that she knows how to do it, it means the world to me. So it's what I saw coming up and what I want to make, when it comes to being a part of my world.
Last one, back left.
Step between your 4-point play where you might have been talking to Ben and J-Lo and then getting
I was not.
Oh, okay. Well, we clear that up, I guess.
Yeah.
And getting a racket from Novak. How was your night amongst the stars tonight?
That's what this city is, especially, a big game like this on a Saturday, you get the who's who. But I enjoy the atmosphere in there. And same way, like you go to different events, different sports, and see their marquee events. I'm a fan just like they are. And it's pretty cool to know that people come in here and love watching us play. And whether it's them or their kids or whatever the case is, that they're here for a reason.
Last one back left was actually the gentleman sitting down. So.
Steph, how much of a momentum change did you sense when LeBron's three-pointer was reversed? Because it took it from 4
It took
back
it from
up to
4 to 7, so that helped. But it was also the long break and extending the lead without doing anything is nice. It happened to me in Memphis actually, where it wasn't a ref looking at it. It was the folks in New Jersey looking at the replays, and I didn't even we came out of a timeout the same way they did, and had no clue that that's what they were looking at. Honestly, I don't like that one too much just because there's so much going on in the game, and his heel was just barely on it. He was obviously out. I think I was in Memphis, but it's weird when the flow of the game's going on and you hear a call come in from the sideline, so it is what it is.
Yeah, is it weird when you think they're reviewing one play and it's like, no, we're actually taking a look at another one?
Yeah, I was confused all the way, but it's not my job.